this episode of In the Fight. U.S. coalition and Afghan forces go on the lookout for Taliban hidden within the local population. A one-of-a-kind school in Afghanistan trains their own bomb disposal teams. Marines at Camp Pendleton combat the wildfires in their own backyard. Army demolition engineers bring the thunder and make it rain. And we see the perspective of an Air Force C-130 loadmaster with a passion for photography. Locating Taliban members who have embedded themselves alongside peaceful residents requires a lot of footwork. Army broadcasting correspondent Gail McCabe reports on how U.S. and coalition forces are helping Afghan troops ferret out these insurgents.
The village is called Mandisar, located just outside Kandahar Airfield. Mandisar is a known gathering place for the Taliban.
There's 3 different tribes that kind of come together to form Mandisar. So
Lieutenant Colonel Dave Voorhees says his mission is to shake them up.
We know for a fact there's about 12 bad guys that live in this town. Those are mid-level to middle manager type leadership for the Taliban. A lot of the folks around here support them, either just because they're family members or they just support the security in the area.
The plan is to provide support for Afghan security forces as they conduct a cordon and search in this village of 2,000.
We have information that there might be a cache of lethal aid, explosives, rockets, things of that sort, weapons that may be there.
Ferreting out information on Taliban plans and weapon caches is the primary goal for a combined task force Red Warrior, a skilled and potentially lethal combination of U.S. Army, Air Force, coalition, and Afghan security forces.
Planning factor is get the Afghans to do it. That's the whole goal, right? But if push comes to shove and, let's say we knock on wood, take a bunch of rockets tomorrow, for example, I'm going to be out here unilaterally, with or without the Afghans. But the goal is to get confidence to our Afghan army and police friends so they can do this when we leave.
The fighting season in Afghanistan is officially underway. Decisive territory, like Mandisar, continues to be under close scrutiny. Gail McCabe, Afghanistan.
The threat of improvised explosive devices in Afghanistan will surely continue to be an issue for years to come. NATO channel correspondent Lawrence Cameron reports on how a unique school is training the Afghan people to handle this threat on their own.
Since the fall of the Taliban in 2001, homemade bombs have claimed more lives in Afghanistan than any other weaponry. It takes skilled explosive ordnance disposal teams to combat these so-called IEDs, or improvised explosive devices. As coalition troops shrink in number, Afghan forces are increasingly taking on the role of EOD technicians, learning how to defeat the IED threat. The school near Mazar-e-Sharif in North Afghanistan is the only one in the country conducting this type of training. Students come from all provinces to learn the necessary tools to keep their area of operations safe. A recent report by the United Nations stated that nearly 3,000 civilians were either killed or wounded by IEDs last year. That's a 14% increase on the previous year.
دلیلش بود که بیشتر از هموطنان ما، همقدارای ما، همسنگرای ما، مردمای ملکی بیشترین تلفاتش است از دست آیدی هاست یا ماین هایی که در زمین فرش میشه. من بتونم گفتم تا باعثی خدمت به جامعه خود، به مردم خود از این طریق بشم گفته همین مسلک انتخاب کنم.
Afghan soldiers can qualify as EOD operators or operator assistants, depending on how they perform. The graduates take their newfound knowledge back to their units, where they mentor alongside EOD contractors or coalition EOD units. After 6 months of field work, the mentors validate their proficiency in real-world situations. Once validated, they then join an Afghan EOD team, similar to the ones coalition forces are using now. For Nature Channel in Mazar-e-Sharif, this is Lawrence Cannon.
Clearing IEDs often requires up-close detection and careful removal. Sometimes, however, it's best to bring out the big guns. Army Sergeant Chiquita Pena shows us how Marine engineers at Camp Leatherneck are using assault vehicles, rockets, and a lot of C4 to make the area safer.
The 2nd Combat Engineer Battalion at Camp Leatherneck, Afghanistan conducts training exercises using assault breacher vehicles and mine-clearing line charges, or MCLICs. Ground operations throughout Helmand Province rely heavily on the success of this team. Corporal Dylan McKee is making the calls today.
We're just gonna load up the tubs. Basically, the tubs are full of a MCLIC mine-clearing line charge. It's 1,750 pounds of C4 attached to a rocket. Basically, we'll hit the launch button, the rocket will carry out the line charge, it'll lay down, and we'll detonate, just basically doing a mock mission.
And as First Lieutenant Matthew Thomas explains, prepare for any obstacles.
Right now, we're going through our misfire procedures. The rocket launched, but the actual line charge failed to detonate. We're actually going to have a Marine that walks down range, puts a saddle charge on the 5th block where the RDX booster is, and then back off and get back in his ABB. Typically, this is called a Medal of Honor run.
It's the scariest thing I've ever done in my life, for sure, and I love it.
After 4 successful detonations, 2nd CEB leaves the Dusty Range mine-free. They will continue their mission to keep the roads of Helmand Province safe for coalition forces on the ground, and equally important, the residents of Helmand Province. From Camp Leatherneck, Afghanistan, I'm Army Sergeant Chiquita Pena.
Hi, I'm 2nd Lieutenant Elizabeth Halley, and I'm deployed in the Middle East. I just want to say, give a little shout out to my friends and family back home in South Texas, and my husband in Jacksonville, Florida, Eric. Thanks for all your support, and I'll be back home soon.
Hello, I'm Master Sergeant Jerry Carroll, flight medic here at the 455th Aeromedical Evacuation Squadron, Bagram, Afghanistan. I'd like to give a big shout out to my family and friends, especially my wife Mindy and my 4 children, Justin, Mallory, Jared, and Joshua.
Hey, my name is Staff Sergeant Justin So. I'm currently deployed in the Middle East with 379 Force Support Squadron. I just want to give a special thanks and a big I love you to my wife Michelle out in Arlington, Texas. We thank you for everything and everything you do for our support, and I'll be home soon.
Coming up, Marines fight wildfires in their own backyard. And Navy field medics train for a high-stress environment. Check out DividsHub.net for the latest accurate and reliable information as In the Fight continues. Which of the following is the main cause of wildfires? The answer when we return.
I lost my brother Frank in the Battle of Iwo Jima.
He served on 4 combat tours
in Vietnam, in Iraq, Afghanistan. There's a life that was lost behind that pin.
I put it on for my wife.
For my husband.
My brother.
My dad.
My son.
We wear it because we honor those that we lost.
To learn more about the stories behind the Gold Star Pins, visit goldstarpins.org.
From combat-related stress to the day-to-day stressors of life.
This package is going to be completed.
This is the 4th time this week.
Stress can affect every Marine and Marine family. The De-Stress Line provides anonymous counseling for Marines and Marine families when it's needed most. If you're feeling the effects of stress, call today and let us help you win your personal battles.
I
want to give a shout out to my family and friends.
I want to send a shout out to my husband,
to my parents, my family back home.
I'd like to give a shout out to my girlfriend.
To my family and friends in Lansing, Michigan.
To my family out in Tucson, Arizona.
To my beautiful wife and children in Des Moines, Iowa.
To everybody in Texas.
In York, Pennsylvania.
Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Chicago, Illinois.
Harrisonburg, Virginia.
Orlando, Florida. Oceanside, California.
And Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
I love you guys. I miss you. And I hope I'll see you soon.
Which of the following is the main cause of wildfires? The answer is A, humans. Marines at Camp Pendleton are well versed in supporting firefighting missions throughout the country. When wildfires show up in their own backyard, the 3rd Marine Aircraft Wing wastes no time combating the flames. Marine Gunnery Sergeant Donald Bohanner brings us this story.
Down 100 feet. Roger, good, clear below. Roger. Steady. Target's filling.
Performing this work is going to put things into a really good perspective. The Marine Corps has been referred to as America's 911 force, and here we are taking care of a mission right here in our own back door.
The operations we're conducting today are very similar to how the Marine Corps answers the call and runs to the sounds of the guns, whether it be combat operations in theater or natural disasters at home.
What we're doing to support the firefighting mission, we have 4 of our 46s set up to support CAL FIRE, and we're doing, it's called a water bucket mission, so we basically have big water buckets mounted to the bottom of the aircraft, drop them into what's called a dip site, where we'll pick up water, bring the water to the fire, basically directed by CAL FIRE, and dropping the water onto the fire.
It's great to get out there and help out the city. We're here all the time. We make noise, but it's great to get out there and help them out, and I think they appreciate it. I know they see it. They see us overhead, so they know why we're there today.
To support these guys, because I live here, I see this when I wake up. You know, every single day I'll come to work, I see it on base here. These fires are close to home, but it's also meaningful in the sense that I can give back to the surrounding community. It shows that we have a platform that's more than capable of performing this mission, and that's exactly what we're doing. We're out there performing this mission.
In this mission, there are no infantry on the ground. There are firefighters from Southern California, and as pilots of 46 aircraft, we understand that no matter when ground units call, 46s will keep coming. So that's how we are treating the Southern California firefighting mission right now.
Exercise Desert Scimitar gives Marines the opportunity to rehearse essential combat skills that may be needed in the battlefield. After 10 years of unconventional counterinsurgency combat, this gives 1st Tank Battalion Marines a much-needed refresher on conventional warfare. Marine Corporal Christopher Moore brings us a story.
Marines blasted their way through the desert in 70-ton monsters during Exercise Desert Scimitar 2014 aboard Marine Corps Air Ground Combat Center, 29 Palms, California. The exercise focused on conventional missions and provided realistic training that prepared the Marines for overseas operations. It ensured the Marines with 1st Tank Battalion maintained the basic principles of tank warfare.
We're really just looking to get back into the conventional mode of fighting. The last 10 years of war, we've been fighting counterinsurgency and kind of getting away from the basic doctrine of how we wage our combined arms fight. Exercises like this can help bring us back to the basics.
The training gave the Marines the opportunity to refine and rehearse essential combat skills needed in a battlefield environment. The tank crewmen often spend more than half a day inside the vehicle during training and are able to build camaraderie between each other to keep the tank operating smoothly and effectively.
Being able to be out here, you get really close not only to your own crew, but to the crews around you, whether it be your section or your platoon or a company in its own. Being in the fight is definitely something that will bring a brotherhood.
The Marines with 1st Tanks showed their explosive prowess as they blasted through Desert Scimitar. They continued to perfect their craft, keep timely and accurate fire on target, and protect their fellow Marines on the battlefield. Reporting from Camp Pendleton, California, I'm Corporal Christopher Moore.
Field medics have to be prepared for anything in a high-stress environment. As Marine Lance Corporal Joshua Murray reports, Camp Pendleton boasts one of only 2 facilities that can transform a Navy hospital corpsman into a field medic equipped to travel with Marine units.
We're only one of 2 places that can make an 8404, which is a field corpsman. There is no corpsman that you've ever served with in a Marine Corps unit that has not come through either East Coast or West Coast Field Medical Training Battalion. We bridge that gap between the Marine Corps tactics and the Navy medicine that they already know. Tomorrow, what you'll see specifically is both physical and mental. And by physical, we'll start off with a pretty substantial PT session prior to them going in and performing their 120 seconds of being able to apply that tourniquet quickly and efficiently. And once they do that, it turns into mental stressors. And we're sitting there yelling at them. There's water in there. There's fake blood all over the ground. We're banging, not drums, but we're banging buckets with wood. They can't hear themselves. It's completely dark in there. They can't see their patients. They're only using physical landmarks by doing a complete triage from head to toe on their patients. And once they complete that, that's when they're considered done. But it is a gruesome 2 minutes for them once they go in there, and it's not easy. I can assure you that.
When we're with the Marine unit deployed, or even back home in garrison, things can happen very quickly, and we do a lot of repetition, and it does get a little monotonous. But the point is that the more you can do it, the more you can make it muscle memory. So let's say you're out walking, you're not expecting anything, something happens, an IED, you take contact. Someone goes down, they're critically injured. You need to be able to react in a second and immediately get that tourniquet on. In a high stress situation where you may not, there may be a lot going on. So you need to be able to get down and just immediately be able to know what your equipment is, where it needs to go, how it needs to be placed.
They're going to be able to walk to the fight, be able to do some healing power and bring that to the fight, and do tactical medicine, as well as continue to be a gun in the fight for the entire duration of whatever conflict we're in, peacetime, wartime, it doesn't matter. That 8404 Field Corpsman will be able to help on both the medicine side and the Marine Corps tactical side.
Hey, this is Captain Brittany Hemmer, flight nurse here at the 455th Aeromedical Evacuation Squadron, Bagram, Afghanistan. Just want to give a big shout out to my family and friends back home, but especially Mom, Dad, Brianna, and my fiance, Lieutenant Michael Edwards. Can't wait to be home soon. Save me a seat at the ballpark.
Hi everybody, my name is Specialist Mendoza here at IUD Air Base. I'm currently serving with 343 Air Defense Artillery, and I would like to give a shout out to my parents and my brother and my sister out in California, and I'd also like to give a shout out to my fiance, Robert Navarro, and my daughter, Penelope Caprice.
Captain Luke Gurley with the 48th Infantry Brigade Combat Team in Camp Phoenix, Afghanistan. I want to give a shout out to my wife, Julia, and my kids, Kerrigan and Josiah. I love you and I miss you. I'll see you soon. Daddy loves you, Bug, and Tractor.
I'm PFC David Perez with Golf Company 1504, stationed in Bagram Airfield. I just want to do a shout out to my mom, dad, and the most beautiful girl in the world, Kendall Paulus.
Coming up, Army engineers make it rain. And we'll showcase some of the best photos from our service members as In the Fight, presented by Divots, continues. During what decade did the C-130 Hercules enter military service? The answer when we return.
With the new Military 24/7 app from Divots, you turn your favorite mobile device into a window to the front lines. Connect with your nation's finest men and women through our video and photography archives, and stay up to date with news reported directly from service members. Quickly share information and breaking stories with friends via Facebook, Twitter, or email. News, photos, video. Your military 24/7.
The environment is my passion. Every day, I live for the outdoors and all of its challenges. That's why I enlisted in the Coast Guard. Now, I serve to protect the environment and defend my country. like I was born for this.
Were you born ready for a greater challenge? Find out at GoCoastGuard.com.
Bala-Katan, meaning shoulder to shoulder. We're out here with our counterparts, our allies. We're getting to train, shoulder to shoulder with them.
So it's one of the time that we band together as one.
We all have a passion to serve this community together in unison.
It opens everything. It breaks the barrier.
During what decade did the C-130 Hercules enter military service? The answer is A, the 1950s. There's plenty of thunder as engineers from 1st Brigade Special Troops Battalion make it rain at Fort Stewart. Army Sergeant Dean Gannon brings the boom to your living room.
The calm before the storm doesn't last long when 3 squads of dismount engineers train up on demolition. Charlie Company 1-3 Brigade Special Troops Battalion started blasting through Engineer Qualification Table 6 starting on June 3rd. Platoon leader, First Lieutenant Brendan Hickey, tells us about some of the challenges that await them.
Today is a demolition range focusing on familiarization with demolition and preparation for the Engineer Qualification Tables. During that time, they'll be doing mine wire obstacle breach, they'll be in hasty road crater, and also road recon. It is strictly their squad leader and their team leaders that are in charge. All they get is a mission, and they go and execute. This is the first time in a long time a lot of these soldiers have had hands-on demolition and able to blow it, so it's all fun stuff.
This training certifies soldiers and leaders at the squad level on sapper tasks. Assault and Obstacles Section Leader, Sergeant Craig Pruden, understands there's more to overcome than just the learning curve associated with demolition calculations and charge construction.
For the soldiers, it's overcoming fear. Most of these guys are coming straight at AIT, so they still have some fear when involved in demolitions. They don't have the true understanding of how safe the demolition actually is when used in the proper manner.
Showing how sappers bring the boom, I'm Army Sergeant Dean Gannon.
Sapper approved.
If you're a downed pilot in a hostile area, avoiding detection is key to survival. Air Force Staff Sergeant Jose Rodriguez tells us how F-16 pilots at Kunsan Air Base are learning the skills necessary to survive in the wild and return home.
From the outside looking in, it seems like these airmen are playing a game of hide and seek. As you take a closer look at the uniforms, hunters, and cold adrenaline-filled pilots, then it becomes a Wolfpack survival, evasion, resistance, and escape training course.
Find your location. What's the first step of finding your location? And it's all about hands-on training. So if we don't actually get them out here in the woods, doing everything that they're supposed to do, it's going to be hard for them to remember. So that muscle memory is really important.
This field training puts everything learned in the classroom to the test. The 8th Operations Support Squadron Weapons and Tactics Section trains F-16 pilots on phases of evasion to avoid adversaries if they ever eject over hostile territory.
Okay, if somebody started coming along, what do I do? And, they may not remember my name, but they'll remember my face and what I taught them. So if they can return with honor, and I help them accomplish that part of the mission, that's pretty rewarding.
The target of this training is for Wolfpack pilots to maintain the skills necessary to ensure they return home with honor. Staff Sergeant Jose Rodriguez, Kunsan Air Base, Korea.
As if taking great photographs wasn't hard enough, try doing it from the back of a flying C-130 Hercules. Airman First Class Danny Rangel caught up with an Air Force Loadmaster whose passion for photography has also turned into an effective training tool to prepare other airmen to handle this dangerous environment.
I've been a loadmaster in the Air Force for approximately 16 years. People always asking you what you do. Well, you can explain to them what you do, but when you show them visually, well, they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. My name is Master Sergeant Brian Malewski. I'm with the 115th Airlift Squadron out of California Air National Guard, and we're here for the Eager Lion exercise. It makes a lot of people speechless when they do see the pictures and images and videos that I take. I love explaining to my wife what I do, and when she watches the videos, it gets her excited for me too. Not only do I do what I do in the Air National Guard, I work for Lockheed Martin as a C-130J Loadmaster instructor. And so anything that I can do to visually show them what they're going to experience just keeps them engaged. With the C-130, it's definitely the vibration. It's hard to maintain focus while you're shooting. An aircraft is moving, it's pulling G-forces on you, so at certain points in the turn, or the brake as we'll call it, your arms are weighing twice as much as what you're used to, and then you add a camera weight to that, and it's pretty challenging. If people want to know what it's like to try and do, it's ride a roller coaster and look over your shoulder and try to take a picture. It's pretty difficult to do. After that many years of flying and that many hours in the aircraft, it's breathtaking, and once again, we all know from being there that a picture really doesn't do it justice as to what it actually looks like. Anytime we open up the back or the parachute doors, it's just an unusual way of looking at the world, and it gives you a different perspective on things from above. And people say it's the desert, but we saw a lot of life out there, but it's just a beautiful experience.
DVIDS is a 24/7 operation that provides a timely, accurate, and reliable connection between the media and the military serving worldwide. Through a network of over 200 portable satellite transmitters around the globe and a distribution hub in Atlanta, Georgia, DVIDS gives you access to the front lines with live and archived broadcast video, still imagery, and print products. Visit our website at DVIDSHub.net and search through our enormous video and photo library. Register on our website to gain complete access to high-definition content, along with breaking news alerts and webcasts from top military officials. For questions or comments about In the Fight or DVIDS, you can email us at ondemand@DVIDSHub.net or follow us on Twitter and Facebook. As we close, we feature some of the best photos that DVIDS has to offer, as we listen to Eddie Horst's composition, Pangea. See you next time, In the Fight.